Hello and welcome back to Well Played, presented by The Scam. I'm Caroline Hendershot.
And I'm Blake Morgan. What's up, girl?
Hey, girl.
Hi. How you doing?
I know I texted you about this a little bit, but I typically like to write down things in my notes app that I want to either talk to you about at a later date or bring up on the show so that I don't forget, because I have wedding brain at the moment and I forget everything that's going on. So I just need everyone to listen really quickly to the series of questions and statements that I had listed in my notes app for Blake.
No context, by the way.
No context. Zero. It starts out with, should I pay an Etsy witch? Then, do you think we have a Reddit thread? If no, should we start our own? Next one. One of the biggest honors is being posted on someone's close friend story. But do you think I could see someone's close friend story if I don't follow them, but they put me on it? I don't know why I don't know why I thought you had all the answers. And then also, Dakota Johnson is crushing Materialist press tour.
I agree. She is everywhere.
Nothing to do with sports.
No.
Just 4 questions and statements that I thought you had the answers to.
We definitely don't have a Reddit thread. I'm sorry, doll.
Let's start one.
We can start one.
Okay.
Should you pay an Etsy witch? I think we should, but I think we should save it for something really big.
Okay. That's fair.
Do you think hiring an Etsy witch for the Jets would count as like, would that like fall in the realm of like sports betting?
That's such a good question.
You should ask.
I should.
You should put
I'll
it
go
on
to
TikTok.
the league office.
Literally put it on TikTok.
Okay, done.
I feel like that could go viral.
Okay, done. This is actually really.
And then what was the third one again?
Being on someone's close friend story.
I don't think you can see it.
Bummer.
Yeah. And then Dakota Johnson, hard agree.
Yeah.
She is killing the press tour.
I'm
Media
obsessed with
training
her.
is scared of her.
I love that.
I was just thinking about how celebrities have to hold back so much. I was reading this profile about Michael B. Jordan, and like it was so boring because he can't. He literally intentionally censors himself so that he can't say anything fun.
I know.
No, what's the point? I don't really care.
You don't get to really know him.
No, I don't really care.
Give me the good stuff.
Exactly.
Come on now. So yeah. Anyways, that's me.
Can I tell you what I did this weekend besides see you?
Yeah.
Caroline and I saw each other Friday night for a little party.
We did.
It was cute.
Mm-hmm.
Caroline had to save me from some weird men.
Yeah. A couple times.
Yep. Wouldn't stop talking to us.
Classic.
And then this whole weekend I had to lie to my friend because she was getting engaged on Sunday. And I played a major role.
Wow.
And I didn't post about it anything. You might notice, you didn't see a ring. You didn't see a picture of her. You didn't see the video because she's a very shy gal. You know, she wouldn't want that out there just yet.
Yeah.
So I had to lie to her fucking face the entire weekend, and it was so hard. But honestly, I deserve an Oscar because it went out. Well, it went off without a hitch.
I'm so proud of you.
Even when my other friend who doesn't know her that well, my friend Julia, went up to her and was like, "Hey, Summer, congratulations!" before it even happened, and I like could have killed her in that moment. Literally was like about to strangle her, but we were on a zip line. We were at the Area 53 at Action Adventure Park. You ever heard of it?
Nope.
We went for my friend's birthday.
Okay.
So we were harnessed in. Luckily, otherwise I would have pushed her off that platform.
Of course.
But it went off without a hitch, and my friend was so shocked. We had to guide her to the proposal spot in Bushwick Inlet Park, otherwise known as Marsha P. Johnson Park, in case you care. You have no idea where that is. It's in Brooklyn. It's in Williamsburg. Study up. And she had no idea. And then I was recording a video though, so I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. I didn't start crying. And then after I put the video down, it hit me.
Yeah. And
I was like hyperventilating. It was so fucking weird of me. Like,
it's a very emotional thing. It's a
very
very emotional thing.
But it's like, it's not my engagement.
I know, but you're so happy for your friend.
I know. And her fiance is just such a good guy. So I think that was why I was crying.
See, that's so sweet. Wholesome.
Yeah.
Wholesome weekend.
So that's what happened.
Proud of your acting though. I'm really proud.
Thank you. I know, but watch your back because you never know.
Oh,
Sean and I might be pulling some moves on you.
Oh my God, coming for my neck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, shall we get into les sports?
Let's get into the sports.
Les sports. Yeah, I don't know. I sound like freaking Luigi from Mario Kart. Let's begin playing the field with a story about the basketball group chat that everyone's talking about. That's WNBA superstar Caitlin Clark and her Indiana counterpart, Tyrese Haliburton.
In case you don't know who that is, he's the cutie star of the Indiana Pacers. Some might not use that word to describe him. I would choose to.
I think cutie star is fair.
Yeah, I have affection for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's become increasingly popular during his playoff run. NBA Finals. He famously did not score many points last night, though.
Yeah,
in Game 5.
Not a great game for him.
It was not a good look. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we're not here to talk about his gameplay. We're here to talk about the fact that in a recent interview with ESPN, he shared that him and Caitlin Clark and their 2 longtime partners, so his girlfriend, Jade Jones, and Caitlin Clark's boyfriend, Connor McCaffrey. They all have a group chat together.
How fun.
I know. And they're just talking 24/7.
Yeah.
And you got to imagine, like, this guy's playing basketball, obviously playing basketball right now, but he's in the playoffs, in the finals. He doesn't have time to answer group chats, but no, he says, there's one group chat that I always answer, and it's with Clark, McCaffrey,
The core four.
and my woman.
The core four.
The core four.
It just seems like all very fun personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would love to, and I bet, he kind of texts while her games are going on and she texts while his games are going on. And so I bet there's just a lot of like good tea in there too.
Yes. And it all started also because, so I think Caitlin Clark's boyfriend was an intern of sorts for the Pacers.
Okay.
And so that's how they met. But they also like all went to school. They're like all Midwest people. Like Iowa. They went to school in Iowa. And now they're in Indiana. So interesting.
Yeah.
They really just followed each other around.
Apparently, they go on double dates and hang out all the time. Plus, Clark even videotaped her reaction to Haliburton's winning shot from game 1, which she didn't like plan to share with the public, but she did send it to Haliburton himself. So
yeah, because she's
like,
cursing in it. And I'm like, you should share that.
Yeah.
You should share that.
Come on. We want the authenticity. But I also have to just say, so while we're on the topic of Mr. Tyrese's famous friends, he told this story about LeBron's old man habits and how he said during the Olympics, Tyrese like walked into the training room and LeBron was like sitting in there getting treatment with his iPad on his chest, full volume, watching The Sopranos, like cackling. And he was like, how many times have you seen the show? And he was like, 3 or 4. And he's like, how are you still laughing at it? Also, you're the Beats guy. Put some headphones on. And I was like, this is me with my parents.
Also, respect. Because, like, you got to have some balls, I feel like, to be like, LeBron, put your goddamn headphones on.
Yeah, but I feel like when you're acting like a boomer, you get to be called out on.
You get boomer treatment.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, sorry,
Mom
LeBron. Sorry, LeBron and Mom and Dad. Yeah.
I know. He seems so with it in so many ways. And then other times you're just like, you are, like, just an unk.
Yeah.
You're giving unk right now.
You are. Yeah. So anyways, maybe not full volume. I respect. No. Sometimes you don't have your headphones. Okay, I get it. I mean, not LeBron James. You're literally the Beats guy, but okay. But full volume.
If I don't have headphones and I'm like laying, even if I'm laying in bed, I put it like on the lowest volume and I literally put the covers on my head because I don't want to disturb my boyfriend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When it's like phone time.
Because you have respect.
Yes, exactly.
Classic.
Anyway, meanwhile, on Caitlin Clark's side of things, she made her return to the W in a game against the Liberty on Saturday, scoring 32 points.
Casual.
And handing New York their first loss of the season.
Yep.
Hard to watch because Caitlin just got back from injury.
Yeah.
And
she said, you thought I was going to be slow in my comeback?
No,
absolutely not.
She literally killed them.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, so she put on a show with 6 first-half three-pointers, including a pair of back-to-back shots from deep that stunned the crowd. Check out the stat highlighted by Fever reporter Pat Boylan. So Caitlin Clark's three-point distances in the first half, 34 feet, 28 feet, 31 feet, 27 feet, 31 feet, 27 feet. The three-point line is at 22 feet away.
Okay, let me add this because I saw a tweet from Trista Crick where it said Caitlin Clark made 7 3-pointers in that game from an average distance of 28.71 feet. Steph Curry's average distance on made 3-pointers this year was 27 feet.
No way.
Yeah.
That's an amazing stat.
I know. Girls going from deep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, like, just for context, she is the GOAT.
Also, there is a really cute video
where she does, like, the step back with Stewie.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like...
That was so cute.
She's kind of, like, fakes out that she's pointing out something and wants people to move around the court in a certain way. And then she just steps back, absolutely drains this three-pointer. And it's from so far away. And Breanna Stewart's looking at her like, how the hell did you just do that? Yeah. And they're like laughing as they go back down the court. It wasn't even like
animosity. She's just like, I just can't believe what this girl's doing.
Yeah, like, oh my God,
it was so
you.
Cute. It was
so cute. Okay, but the big takeaway from Caitlin's absence and subsequent return was her impact on the television ratings. So according to Nielsen, nationally televised WNBA games were down 55% when she was injured.
I mean, her impact is undoubtable.
I just for people that thought that she was kind of overhyped in the way that she affects the WNBA, there's your information and your proof that she, in fact, single-handedly, like, kind of turns this whole sport around. It honestly, Scott had been rewatching The Last Dance, and it honestly reminded me of the way that people were acting with Michael Jordan in the 90s because they were, like, coming out in droves to see him. And it's like, that's kind of like what's happening with Caitlin Clark.
It's true.
It's crazy.
It's true. I did for a second when I was preparing for this, I was like, It would be cute to go to Indiana. I've never been. I romanticize the fuck out of the Midwest, I have to say. As somebody who's been there literally one time.
Okay.
So I'm like, I want to go to Indiana. Maybe I could go to a Fever game. That would be so fun. And I was like, I'm so naive. Like, people line up hours before the game even starts there. Like, I'm not getting a ticket for less than like hundreds of dollars.
For sure.
So I think my flight is going to get canceled. I'm not even going to book it. Why bother?
Okay. So it's just like a dream, not really a well thought out plan at this point?
It's a fantasy.
Okay.
It's
I respect
fantasy.
it. I respect it.
Wait, but did you also see, last thing about Caitlin Clark, she has these really cute sneakers that she had made. So she wore in her return game these sneakers with Nike that she's calling the Bellas.
Yes.
Bella, where have you been, Loca?
Okay. You know why? It's because they're after her dog.
Yeah.
I thought her dog died. I was literally getting heartbroken that her dog died.
The tears were probably dripping before you even saw the shoes.
Of course. And come to find out, dog is alive and well. Bella is okay. I was like, okay, though, don't scare me that.
I know.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so Bella, if you look at the shoe, on the outside, they're kind of like a creamish color with a little pink. And on the inside, on the sole of the shoe, there's a picture of little Bella's face.
Little sweetie girl.
She's a golden retriever.
Mm-hmm. I know, key to my heart. You know that.
Yeah.
So,
they're not going to be released to the public, so
yeah.
Don't get too excited, y'all.
But also, everyone, don't worry. Bella is alive and well. So also making headlines in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark's rival, but like not really rival, Angel Reese got the first triple-double of her career. Why is that so special, you may ask? Well, at 23 years and 40 days old, she became the second youngest player to ever record a triple-double in WNBA history.
Who was the first?
Behind only Caitlin Clark herself, who did it twice while still 22.
Twice.
Mm-hmm.
Twice.
I took twice.
You know that Vine?
No.
What?
Sorry.
It's this video of Oprah where she's like, I've seen the film now twice. And the person's like, twice.
That's a good one. Rip Vine. Yeah, no, Angel Reese, congrats to her.
Yes.
Very, very impressive accomplishment. But she also, I learned last night, has trademarked the word me bounds.
I saw that.
Mm-hmm, because someone was trolling her and like kind of making fun of like the fact that she was claiming all the rebounds and they were saying like, oh, me bounds. And she was like, I'm going to trademark that and I'm going to make money off it. Thank you.
Girl, go off.
And
She's
I'm
smart.
like,
Businesswoman.
Okay. Yeah, businesswoman. For real.
While we're on the subject of Angel Reese, did you see that video of her fixing Holly Rowe's eyelash in an interview?
Iconic.
It was so cute because she didn't even ask for permission, which, you know, sometimes you should.
Yeah.
But in that instance, it was just like, no, let me just fix you up. And then Holly's like, are you fixing my eyelash? She's like, yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome. And that's girls supporting girls. And also, though, Holly Rowe is, I feel like she covered a lot of women basketball games in college for LSU where Angel Reese attended and played. And also now, like, interviews draftees at the draft. So, like, Holly Rowe is very integrated into their life. So I feel like they're like, oh, it's my good friend, Holly Rowe, you know? But yeah, it was a really cute moment. I loved that.
Moving on with Playing the Field, we have to talk about this bizarre story involving former NFL receiver Antonio Brown. I was not super familiar with Mr. Brown until this story, honestly. Do you mind filling us in? Yes,
I'm going to give you the details on this story and less about his lore in the NFL. But if you need some context, I'll provide. But Antonio Brown is now facing attempted murder charges stemming from a shooting in Miami outside a boxing event last month. So Brown was detained by police after gunshots were fired at the event, and social media videos captured him fighting with several people prior to the shooting. Now that a warrant was issued for his arrest, Brown defended himself on social media, claiming that he was quote-unquote jumped and defended himself. He also claims that the police did not arrest him after the incident after hearing his side of the story.
Yes, and according to the warrant, witnesses told police officers that Brown was the shooter and 2 shell casings were found at the scene. And the man he allegedly punched told police that Brown, quote, began to run toward him with a firearm after the fight had already broken up and he shot at him twice.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like Brown's version of the story and then the victim's side of the story. It's just very crazy and very bizarre. And then also he like posted a very vague video on Twitter of him riding a bicycle. And in like a very nondescript location, it kind of looks like.
Wait, what?
Like you can't really tell. Like you can't really like tell where he is, and it says #all love from the Middle East. But he also went to the Middle East in like 2022. So people are like, is it an old video and he's actually still in the States? Or so it's just very bizarre energy. I mean, that is Antonio Brown in a nutshell. He is very bizarre.
I know. I did read that he's historically has been accused of battery of a moving truck driver, many domestic violence charges, failure to pay child support, and more. I read that from the AP.
Yeah, he's quite involved.
Okay,
as one should say. But I'm just glad no one was harmed. But I guess we'll follow along and see if they arrest him, if they get to him.
If he really is in the Middle East.
Where the hell he is. But just felt like we needed to mention.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue playing the field with a new roundup we're calling Pretty Boys of the NFL. Blake, care to share the first bit of Pretty Boy NFL news?
I sure can. So our man. In the script it says my man, but I'm going to say he's our man.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
He married his wife, Brianna Burrows, a first time a couple months ago, but then he was like, you know what? Why don't we do it again? Let's run this shit back. And he did it for a second time at a second wedding ceremony in Napa Valley, California.
You know why I can tell that he didn't plan either of those weddings? Because he decided to have a second one. Because one is driving me insane right now.
That is plenty.
So, yeah.
So there were a couple overhead photos that made it out of the ceremony.
Yeah, it was like page 6 helicopter.
It was much like Haley Steinfeld,
We should call him Josh
Steinfeld. We're going to start calling him Josh Steinfeld.
I like that Freudian slip right there. Yeah, so there were the overheads where you could like kind of see, but like not really. Like you could tell she was in a strapless dress. You could tell he was in a white tuxedo jacket and black pants. But that was really it. I will say, I'm sure he looked very handsome and very pretty, since that is one of the qualifications of this section of the show. But something about the white jacket and the black pants gives me penguin vibes and like kind of like waiter. So I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of that. But you know what? I'm sure he pulled it off because he can pull anything off.
Standard. Because when I worked at the men's formal wear store in high school.
Oh.
Did you know that I did that?
Of course not. Your lore is ever changing.
That was my first job in high school.
Wow.
Was working at a men's formal wear store. So I saw lots of boys come in for their tux rentals for prom.
Of course.
And some of them would get white jackets. They would never dole it out usually with white pants. That was like not the standard.
My brother wore an all-white tuxedo to senior prom.
He's special.
Because of course he did.
Yeah. Also, I will say, I mean, so Haley and Brianna both wore white strapless dresses. Maybe it's like a fan favorite among the wags.
Well, I do think that strapless bridal
as a bride
dresses,
yourself,
are very popular
right now.
Yeah. Don't know if I did that or not. Guess you'll have to wait and see.
Okay. Also, the photos though from Josh Steinfeld and Haley Steinfeld's wedding.
Oh my god,
are live on her blog called Boat Society.
Oh my god,
so beautiful,
the most beautiful.
I was getting a little upset.
Drop dead mouth on the floor. I couldn't stop. It was fantastic. Okay,
our next pretty boy.
Yes.
Joe Burrow. So he snapped some media day photos and people are talking about his kind of like new hairdo / look. It was brought up in our pitch meeting by our fabulous newsletter writer, Maria, and she said that he posted thirst traps, and then I looked at them and I was like, where's the thirst? I'm not thirsty. In fact, I am completely satiated, don't need water.
2 things.
Am I being a hater right now?
No. 2 things. 1, I just love media day for the NFL boys because this just proves that at the end of the day, they're just like us girls. They just want the perfect photo for Insta.
And that's true. And I don't mean to squash his confidence. He doesn't even think about me at all in his daily life. But like, you know, men deserve to feel hot too.
No,
you know
totally.
I mean?
But like they live for media day photos, which you know what? Respect, because hey, all I'm saying is don't come at your girl for trying to take pictures on vacation for her Instagram because your favorite NFL player is also doing it. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Now, my second thing. I couldn't put my finger on what his hair was reminding me of. But I think
Kelce.
No. But I think I found it last night. And in the most respectful way possible. I think
I'm excited for this.
He reminded me of Betty DeVille from the Rugrats.
Oh my God. So describe who that is for those who don't know.
It's Betty DeVille from the Rugrats. I honestly don't fully remember
she's
her
like
role.
A mom.
She is a mom.
She's the mom of the twins.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think she was a very eccentric mom.
Yes.
But
very out there.
But it's something about like this piece of hair coming over the headband. Mm-hmm. The headband that he wore in those photos was so large.
I was like, okay,
so
again,
large
not
and
to
in charge.
Bring back allegations of going to Turkey, but like with how thick that headband was, I was like, is he hiding his hairline on purpose? Like
maybe.
You know?
I don't think so because he is a pretty boy. But I just was like, whoa, that is exactly what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty boy number 3 and 4, actually, I guess. Travis and Jason Kelce touched down in France Monday at a media panel in Cannes. And I always wanted to say Cannes, but I learned it's Cannes. And now everyone is talking about Jason's fit.
Yeah, that's because he's literally came out to talk on a panel. It was so funny seeing the two of them together. So Jason is wearing let me start with Travis. Travis is wearing like a pretty run-of-the-mill, nice little, I guess, what was it? Sort of like a
sweater material.
Beachy sweat suit with shorts. Very preppy. And then Jason comes out wearing a polo and short matching set with Bluey characters all over it.
You betcha.
And I forgot that they're only 2 years apart because Jason looks like he is at least 10 years older than Travis. And that's because he has 4 daughters.
Yes.
Clearly.
Yes. But it was kind of like an ode to his daughters, he said, because he couldn't be with them on Father's Day.
Right.
And Bluey, obviously, as an auntie, I know Bluey very well, the Australian dog that lives with her family.
Oh.
I know way more about Bluey than I should.
As an auntie, I don't know much about Bluey, actually.
Oh,
luckily.
Get ready to learn, baby.
Luckily for me. I also want to share, as the resident Reddit, ambassador
Please
here.
do.
There is a Kelce snark subreddit. And people snark on, you know what that means? Like,
no.
So there's like so many snark subreddits. There's like NYC influencer snark. There's foodie snark. There's Kelce snark. There's probably Joe Burrow snark. And it's basically just like a subreddit where it's acceptable rather to shit on whoever you're talking about. So it's like,
oh,
all these people in the subreddit have gathered here because they do not like the Kelces.
Whoa, don't like that.
There's definitely a Taylor Swift snark. I'm sorry.
Well, okay, haters.
Anyway, so everybody, I discovered it just by,
accident.
By accident, not because I was trying to snark, but I was just like going to peek in there, and people were pretty bummed by it. Seems like that he spends not much time with his kids.
Jason?
Yeah. He's Mr. Worldwide.
I mean,
without the bald.
I would love to know how they know that since they're, I'm sure, best friends with him.
But that's the point of the snark subreddit, though. You know what I know.
I mean, just hater energy.
I need to find one for you.
Oh. About
join.
me?
No. To join.
Because there's definitely somebody who you
despise.
Okay.
That probably
Ohio State football.
There you go.
Find me that one. But anyways, I think he is actually probably around much more than people give him credit for. It's just like in the football season when he's on different game day shows and all of these like Monday Night Football countdown, all that. It probably seems like he's gone a lot, but I'm sure he's great. No,
we got a Kelce apologist in the room.
Yeah, you sure do. You sure do.
Let's talk about Emma Watson, a.k.a. Hermione Granger, who is participating in the Oxford College Rowing 8 Regatta.
Yeah.
What is a regatta?
Okay, well, a regatta is just like a name for a rowing race.
Regatta.
Okay.
Sorry, I want Sean there.
It's just like what you call a rowing race.
Okay.
Yeah. We're special. We have special
words. You guys
have
such funny language because it's like regatta and then coxswain. That's what Emma Watson is on the rowing team, right? Coxswain. Yeah. Which is spelled Coxswain.
Coxswain.
This is a made-up sport.
I mean, yeah, I actually lied. I played a fake sport. I'm not an All-American. I have no accomplishments.
Never was the NCAA Athlete of the Year.
Nope. Yes, so essentially, which is crazy because I didn't know Emma Watson was like 35.
I also didn't know she was back in school. This girl is chronically in school.
This girl is just a learner of knowledge.
Yeah, she wants to really soak it all in.
She's a brainiac. And I say that in like the most jealous way. Positive. Yeah, I'm like, Jesus, you are so smart. But yes, there were photos of her serving as a coxswain, making the rounds. I think this happened like in May, but it's just starting to kind of get brought to light. But apparently she was coxing the Oxford College rowing team. Her team participated in a trio of races. They lost all 3. And then I think the other team trolled her with like a Harry Potter troll, which is honestly funny.
Valid.
But I was just like, okay, this is so interesting. A, you go back to school. Okay, that's fine. B, I didn't know that you were into rowing. Like, were you into rowing before you went to go be Hermione and
she was like 11 years old,
got sidetracked? Like, I don't know. Maybe she was. Maybe she grew up around a lot of rowers because didn't she grow up in like Oxfordshire or something like that? I think she did.
I
Anyways.
don't know.
Anyways, it was kind of giving a little bit of like Nepo baby of like, oh, I've done it all, so I'm just going to like go and try this other thing. And
or she's just like super rich and can do whatever she wants.
No, but here's the thing. I just get protective of rowing because people think that coxswains are just yell at you and say, row.
Oh, so
row.
they're the person in the back of the boat. Listen,
yes.
You have said coxswain several times in the show, and I just sat here like, yeah, like I knew what you were talking about, and this is me coming clean. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're the yeller, but not just the
they're
yeller.
the tiny yeller.
Oh, they're small.
Yeah, they have to be. They have to be
Not
tiny.
you.
No, I could never.
You got the body to
my
row.
legs would literally not fit in the seat. But I just get protective of them because people think that they don't have a real job, and I have been around literal coxswains that are all Americans because they're so good at what they do. They steer the boat. They like do so much more than just yell row. They essentially like call moves for you. They're their coach's eyes on the water.
They're the quarterback of the boat.
Exactly, Blake. Oh my God. Look at
I
her.
know sports.
She's an NFL woman. But yeah, so anyways, I just don't really know how I feel about it. Like I feel mixed emotions.
I'm pro. I think she should do whatever she wants.
I mean, I'm pro because it brings more eyes to rowing. But I'm also like, okay, I hope you're good.
I just like her unconventional post-Hollywood life.
Yeah, she really is doing it all.
She's just somebody who stumbled into acting, not somebody that like really wanted to be an actor, I think.
Yeah.
Which
she's
So
multifaceted.
cool. She's getting her PhD, by the way, at Oxford.
Casual.
I know.
Jeez Louise. Our next story, we're going to talk about Stephen A. Smith, the chatty man himself, who somehow is always in the news.
Yeah.
It's honestly kind of impressive.
It's kind of our fault.
Kind of not really. It's also his fault. But he was seen in the stands of the Game 4 matchup between the Pacers and Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't know why Oklahoma was just very hard for me to say. And as the game's going on, he is literally seen playing solitaire on his phone. People lost their mind. Honestly,
valid. He's on the clock.
Kind of get it because not only is he on the clock, the game is going on. Like you're supposed to be watching the game so that you can then recap the game on TV.
It's not like he's on Twitter or Instagram.
No.
He's not playing solitaire. Like you got to be so bored to open your phone and decide to play solitaire.
It's such boomer energy.
You know what I mean?
It's such boomer
energy.
energy.
I remember being a kid and playing solitaire. Remember on the computer?
Yeah.
On
but like I didn't know how, so I just like would click around.
Like that was like my last ditch effort when I was like, all right, let me find something to do.
Yeah, or like try to play Minecraft and I also didn't know how to play that. So again, I was just clicking around. But that was like sheer boredom at its highest.
And it's so funny because he went on Twitter and responded to the photo. He said, yep, that's me. Who would have thought I can multitask, especially during timeouts. Hope y'all are enjoying the NBA finals. And then on Twitter now they do like this thing called like readers add context.
Yeah.
And they're like, Stephen was playing solitaire on his phone while the game was being played.
Yeah, there's a
fact check. Basically.
There's a video of someone filming the court and then going to him and like zooming in, and you can see him actively playing solitaire while the game is going on. So I'm like, oh, buddy, you didn't just get caught. You got caught in 4K.
No, in 4K.
Yeah.
On live television.
Tough.
From your perspective as somebody who covers football, and you are sometimes on the sideline, football's a long game, slow game sometimes. Do you ever get the itch to like do something you're not supposed to be doing on your phone?
Never.
Really?
Never.
Because you know someone's watching?
No. I'm mostly just because like there's always something going on for me, at least. Like I'm either about to do a hit for the radio. I'm like someone just got injured, so I'm trying to figure out what the injury is, or I am writing down some stats for like questions that I can then ask later at the end of the game because maybe something big happened and I want to make sure that I talk about that specific question. So there's always something going on for me. I have never been like, this is a great time to play solitaire. You know what? This sounds like it. Sometimes I'll be on Twitter or on Instagram just because I find that sometimes people post either interesting angles or maybe something I didn't see from the sideline view. Like they're up in the stands and like you can see a bit more honestly than I can. So sometimes I'm on Twitter also looking at that, but like never playing a game.
The solitaire is just a diabolical move.
It's crazy.
And he really aged him. Like he could have really picked anything. He could have picked like freaking Temple Run. I don't know. That's even a throwback.
He
you know
definitely doesn't know what that is.
No idea.
No. But yeah, woof to Stephen A.
God.
Did it to himself.
And to close out playing the field, I think everyone's getting tired of this back and forth between Miami Dolphins star receiver Tyreek Hill and Olympic gold medal sprinter Noah Lyles because they're They're back in the spotlight again in headlines following Hill's blistering fast 10.15 second finish in the 100 meters at the Last Chance Sprint Series this weekend.
I can't with these two. After the race, Hill was quoted as saying Noah could never, reigniting the smack talk the pair has engaged in over the past year.
We should also note that Noah Lyles has not run a 100 meters slower than 10.15 seconds since 2022.
Yes.
So he actually could.
Yeah, he actually does actively. Yeah. So here's the thing. I need both of these men to go to couples therapy because there has never been a more toxic love-hate relationship than these two men. Oh my God, the feud won't die. I'm like, guys, give it up.
At this point, it's not feud. They're looking for a bid for connection, I think. I actually think they want to be united.
Yeah, it's a lover's quarrel.
Yeah, they're going to be like, what is the trope in books? It's like enemies to lovers.
Yes.
You know, that's going to be them. I swear to God.
I love that. I honestly think if they were to go on that couples therapy show with Orna, the therapist, who is...
Love her.
She's iconic. I think she too would even be like, you guys are too much for me.
She actually has done that to a couple before. She's like, I can't see you anymore. I can't help you.
It would be them.
Yeah.
It would also be them.
To me, I was like, this is reminding me of how, you know how they say men watch football on Sundays, they go golfing because it's their only time to hang out and talk.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is that for them. I feel like they just need that third space for them to just meet up.
Interesting, because I feel like both of them talk a lot. So
well, they talk a lot, but do they talk a lot? You know
my God, that was so
philosophical. Or were you silenced?
Great reference.
I think that this is what this is for Tyreek Hill. Do we know if Noah has made a comment?
I don't think
I didn't look into that part.
I don't think he has at the moment, but
he will.
He will.
He will.
Don't you worry, he
will.
We'll
let you know when he does.
Yeah, my goodness.
Okay, it's time for Send It. As always, in case you have forgotten what Send It is, it features 4 of our favorite viral moments from the week that you should be sending to your Sporty group chat.
Yes.
Or not Sporty.
Yeah.
It's really just run of the mill.
I will be starting with my girl, Savannah Sutherland, of course, obviously, the University of Michigan, the greatest university on the planet. After she became the women's 400-meter hurdle national champion, the record Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone set while she was a freshman at Kentucky has not been broken since until Savannah.
That was a while ago.
She ran a 52.46 to break Sydney's record of 52.75. Obviously, I chose it because of Michigan, but also because it was a 7-year-old record, which that's a long chunk of time. Mm-hmm. And Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is known as the GOAT of 400-meter hurdles. So to be able to break that record, I feel oh my God, we have a new someone rising up in the track and field world.
I feel like we will see her at the LA 28 Olympics.
I kind of feel that way as well.
That is if they even happen, because that infrastructure out there, I don't know. Gonna be a lot of traffic, no spectators.
A lot of traffic. Yeah.
Okay, so this one didn't quite make it into Pretty Boys of the NFL, mostly because this band refuses to participate in Pretty Boy activities.
Okay.
But did you see the viral video of Browns quarterback Joe Flacco getting asked by rookie Shedeur Sanders, asking him about a celebratory dance, to which Flacco responded. He was like, do you ever do this dance? And he proceeds to show him. Ew, the dance I just did in my seat was the dance that my dad does. Sorry, Dad. Anyway, he's like, do you do this dance? And Flacco goes, I don't know if I've ever hit a public dance move in my life.
Okay, Joe.
Are you okay? Do you
don't dance at weddings?
Yeah.
Literally.
The one time in your life. Afterward, Flacco responded to questions from reporters saying, I don't know what dance he was talking about, but he's not getting me to do anything.
I think people forget that Joe Flacco is literally 40.
Sorry,
Sean. He's horrified.
He's a little sensitive sometimes.
Yeah, sorry. We just had to make sure that we weren't saying that
not
about you.
Because 40 is old, but it's just the age
He
gap.
was drafted in 2008.
Wow.
That is insane as compared to someone drafted in 2025. My goodness.
Ew.
So it's just,
it even gives me the heebie-jeebies.
There's a big age discrepancy
I will
in
say,
that
in
locker
this situation,
room.
I am the Shedeur. I want to get someone to hit the jerk. I want to get them to hit the nay-nay.
I mean, you know how viral he would go if he did a little TikTok dance in the end zone?
I know. It would do wonders for his image.
I don't know,
His
Joe.
PR team needs to get on this.
Maybe you should consider it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my second send it is the U.S. Open champion, JJ Spaun's Unbelievable tournament-winning putt from 64 feet out. It was insane. I feel like I'm consistently bringing up golf lately, but like
You're a golf girl.
This was actually crazy. It was essentially a putt on one of the hardest courses that like everyone was talking about going into this tournament in soaking wet conditions because it had like poured there, essentially from one end of the green to the other with like hills and all of this freaking craziness on the green itself. He makes the putt, sinks it for the winner, and people are going nuts because they can't believe this.
Well, also, I watched the video. I sure did. And it was like, it's like mathematics.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He
the slope.
He hit it to the side, and I was like, what the fuck? The hole is right there. What are you doing? And it was like literally on a curve, not going anywhere near the hole. And then it went in. And that's on math.
And that's why they get paid the big bucks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why also Caroline Hendershot is really bad at putting because she doesn't have any patience for that kind of shit at all.
Mm-hmm.
But also, so not for nothing, the kind of the lore behind it was that this followed a night where Spaun was up at 3 a.m. for an emergency drugstore run because his daughter was vomiting like all night long. And of course, then he wakes up on Father's Day and goes and plays in this tournament. He wins it. And he was saying something cute about how like his daughters will ask him when he comes home from a tournament, like, did you win, Daddy, or did you not? And like that day they got to be like, Daddy won because they saw
were there.
it. And there's this really cute photo of him signing the scorecard because that's like what you have to do to kind of verify like, yes, those scores that I'm putting in are truthful. With both of his daughters on his lap. And I'm just like, whoa.
That is going to be
the best Father's Day ever.
I couldn't even imagine topping that.
No,
you know?
I don't think you can.
That is so cute.
So special.
So special. Okay, our last sentence is about Minnesota Timberwolves star Julius Randle, his son. His name's Kaiden.
Oh my God.
So his wife shared this video of little Kaiden. I think he's maybe 9 years old now. He also simultaneously looks like he's 17.
Yep.
Like he has like an adult face,
Yeah.
if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And they're on a boat somewhere in Italy, I believe.
Yeah.
On some Mediterranean, might be the Mediterranean. And Drake's song Nokia comes on. And little Kaiden just like gets a phone, and he's like pretending to be Drake. And he knows all the words to this song by Drake.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Mind you, he's 9 years old.
Yeah. But he also
like,
is doing it. Yeah.
Like naming off all the
But
girls.
he's doing it with like such kind of like
Riz.
swag. Yeah, and Riz.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my God, this little 9-year-old is so cool. He's so much cooler than me and called me poor in about like 18 different ways.
He sure did.
Yeah.
He called me that as well.
Yeah.
It was looking like a nice boat.
I know. It was looking like a nice
It was
boat.
so cute though.
Yeah, it was really cute. I was like, wow, pop off king.
I want that confidence for my future child.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. What is your send-it of the week?
I think, can I guess what yours is?
No, because you know what mine is.
I'm going to actually say Joe Flacco, which is kind of an
For
oddball.
you?
I just think it's really funny, the age dynamics.
Yeah.
And the curmudgeonly, I don't know,
Curmudgeon
air
behavior, yeah.
of Joe Flacco
No, I
and
get
little Shador.
Little Shador.
Yeah.
Obviously mine's Michigan because go blue.
I thought you were going to say the thing about JJ Spaun.
Oh, no.
Because that's second for you, right?
Yeah, close second.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, go Savannah Sutherland and go blue. Sorry.
Wait, also, I need to note that in the script, Sean might have been a little tired yesterday because he wrote Michigan University, not University of Michigan.
I mean, here's the thing. Sean puts the team on his back every week and writes the scripts for us. And then we, go off it and we, discuss in our own way. But it's not his fault. He just, absolutely embarrassed me and the University of Michigan that way. It's okay.
Yeah.
We
can't all be perfect.
No, we can't all be us, But it's okay. We love Sean anyways, and we wouldn't be here without him.
No, not
Sweet
at all.
boy Sean.
This is a shout out for
you, Sean.
For Shawnee.
I'm just reminding everyone that Sean's really mean to us sometimes and he yells at us. I'm just kidding. Alrighty, well, that's it for this episode of Well Played.
We will be back in the studio next Tuesday with another episode. Make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you're listening. Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Tell your mother, tell your father, tell your sister, tell your brother.
Tell a friend. Tell a friend.
Tell a friend. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, friends too.
They count.
Where can the people follow you, Blakey?
They can follow me at BLAAs4KC.
Wow. Make sure you're following The Skim at The Skim. And you can follow me at CG Hendy. Yeah, that's all I got for you. So until next time, thanks for listening to Well Played.
The only podcast in League of Its Own.